Okay. uh, Good evening, everybody. Now we are ready to start, and we have Dr. Ranjan Roy joining us in some time. And in the meantime, we will start the program. Good evening, everybody. We have with us wonderful panelists today to begin discussion on opportunities in COVID era. This program has specially been prepared for commerce students. This pandemic situation has put up a lot of challenges for us, and but along with the challenges in this adverse situation, there are a lot of new opportunities that are being created. Opportunities in career, opportunities in study area, opportunities in terms of new business ideas that are coming up. So we are going to be discussing with our panelists today on these and more other lot of other topics that we'll be discussing today. So we have with us our first panelist for the day, Mr. Nishit Kumar. Mr. Nishit Kumar is a veteran in insurance and the banking sector. He has an experience of more than 30 years in banking and insurance sector. And insurance sector, I think he has spent more than 20 odd years now. And I think we'll start with the first question that comes to our mind is, sir, you have welcome to the show, Nishit.
Thank you.
Nishitji, you have spent such a long span of time in working in this insurance sector and the banking sector also before that. So you must have seen a lot of ups and downs in your life. But then the current pandemic situation is quite a adverse kind of a situation. So we have always been hearing that when there is an adverse situation, you also have a lot of opportunities opening up because of the adverse situation, right? In the adverse situation also. So I just want to know, do you think this old adage actually applies to today's context?
Thank you, Mr. Murli, for the introduction, and welcome panelists and the participants. It is indeed a privilege and honor to be as one of the panelists. Yes, I have 32 years of experience in the insurance industry and in general insurance particularly. As a result of which, the second nature becomes to help people. And this kind of situation which you are saying, the pandemic kind of situation, is really tough. We are receiving a lot of phone calls, mails for assistance, for bed which is not available in the hospitals. Some people are undergoing a lot of stress, and there are mental issues, health issues. And our team is there to help from the insurance companies in whatever manner we can. Having said this, I would also like to point out that we were well prepared because we knew that digitalization is very, very critical. And even in the lockdown period, there were 12 lakh policies issued and lakhs of claims also which were settled because of the fact that we were on digital mode. So the policies were issued through the portals, and even the claims were being assessed and settled. So even during this period, the silver lining is, as far as insurance industry is concerned, we are fully geared up to render service to the clients. So that's all, and I don't see any impact on the business also, except in the first 2 months.
Oh, great. Thank you, Nishitji, for that positive note that we are going to begin this discussion today. But then would you say, Nishitji, then that based on what you said, would it be right to say that the insurance industry is going to see a boom after this when the lockdown opens?
Yeah, see, the insurance industry is related to the economy of the country. So I can say health insurance definitely and healthcare industry as such is definitely going to boom. And all the related ecosystem which is built around hospitals and insurance and equipments and the manpower, etc. But as far as the automobile sector is concerned, we see a slight slowdown there. But I am sure the government will give more emphasis on infrastructure building up, the logistics, as well as on the concept of Atmanirbhar kind of fundamentals on which we are working. I see there will be impetus on all these sides. And the experts also make a guess that general insurance at the most there will be a flat growth. There will not be much impact on it.
Okay. Nishiji, I mean, during your this course of being in the insurance and banking sectors, you must have recruited a lot of freshers into your organizations, the different organizations that you were there. So, I mean, what are the attributes that you actually look for in a fresher when you interview them?
One is the enthusiasm of the person, whether he is willing to learn new things, because we always recruit keeping future in the mind. The person might have done a great job in the past, but is he capable of handling difficult situations in future which he might not have come across? And thirdly is integrity is most important. So an attitude, learning ability, and integrity. These three things are most critical before we recruit people.
Great, great. That's a wonderful. I think this is going to help the students and people attending the show a lot, these inputs. Now we have our second panelist joining us from London directly, Mr. Ren Verma. Mr. Ren Verma happens to be the head of partnerships, and he has actually been very kind to spare time today to join us live. And Mr. Ren is actually looking at developing India he's on a journey rather to ensure that all the school students for the first time in the country are able to acquire an international qualification right while they are studying in the school. So it's a big initiative, and Mr. Ren has already achieved a lot in terms of the kind of inroad that has been made in the country. So welcome to the show, Mr. Ren.
Thank you, Murli, for your kind words. It's fantastic to be here today in the presence of such an excellent panel and the future finance leaders of India and the world.
Great. Ren, I just would, before we proceed with the questions, I would like to hear from you, and rather for our audience, what exactly is ACCA all about?
Okay, that's definitely, I mean, as I start, like, I mean, it's so great to see that the students are taking steps to choose a career in finance and accounting, and I'm sure that this will definitely help prepare the students well to navigate and balance the significant challenges that we face in the world today and turn them into opportunities for future. So I'm so happy to be representing the Association of Chartered Certified Accountants. We are a 116-year-old global professional accountancy body established in the United Kingdom in the year 1904. It's over 115 years old. And we are present in 179 countries around the globe. So as I said earlier, ACCA is a globally recognized qualification. That is a fact that over 6.2 lakh plus students around the globe excites them about studying ACCA.
Okay, great. So, I mean, you said that you are present in across more than 170 countries. Is that what you said, Ren?
Approximately 117 and 180 countries, yes.
Oh, great, Great, wonderful. So, so in India, what is the presence that you have?
So in India, like we have been operating in India over the past 5 years or so, and we've got over 40,000 students doing our qualification, including members, doing our different levels of the qualification, and we are tied up with some of the best institutions in the country. That includes over 97 plus universities and colleges of national repute. For example, institutions like Christ University, Xavier's, Symbiosis, Narsi Monji, etc. And so we do also work with learning providers that are spread across tier 1, tier 2, and tier 3 cities around the country, and over 90 plus employers in addition to the 7,400 plus global employers that we work with.
Wow, that's a big presence, Ren. That's a very big presence. I suppose it would be right at this point of time to introduce our third panelist, who is heading the North and East operations of ACCA in the country. And so, Mr. Kishan Mishra, welcome to the show. Kishan, you are heading the North and East of ACCA. So before we actually embark on the aspects of ACCA, Kishan, I would like to know from you as to whether the days that you had in the days you spent in school, and because I know that you're from army, your father was in army, so you had a lot of schools must have changed. You must have studied in multiple schools during the school days, and you must have been traveling from one place to another place. So I just want to know, do you think the challenges that the current students are facing, is that, is there any difference? I mean, is it more difficult or easy? How was it? How do you compare with your days and today?
Okay. Good evening, Murli, and good evening, all the panelists and all the students who are listening to us right now. I would talk about my days as a student. So when I was studying in school, every 1.5 years or 2 years, we used to get transferred from one place to another because my dad served the army, as you have rightly mentioned. It was obviously a new school every time. It was about coping up with the syllabus because you might be at chapter 10 in the school where you were studying previously, and the other school is at, say, chapter 12 or chapter 15. So obviously you have to cope up with the studies there. You have to look for new friends, and you have to actually look at forgetting the previous friends because there were no emails, there were no telephones. We had TP numbers, right, and very, very difficult times for connecting with people wherever we used to move. In fact, I can tell you that I got my 10th board results after the CBSE board had declared the results. So there was a lag of around 53 days for me to receive my own personal result. Now, talking about today, obviously students can actually see their results real time. They can actually study at home. They can actually look at schooling at home now because the schools have moved to homes and they are providing the online classes to the students. So I would say that the current students are in a much better position than what we used to be. And I would also say that, yes, the future is obviously about blending the online learning with the face-to-face learning that has been happening for so many years. So I think this is going to continue with all of us in the long term.
Kishan, I mean, that was a wonderful answer, and it raises my inquisitiveness. You spoke about learning from home, online education. So Kishan, considering the current pandemic situation that we have, and considering the fact that most of us are in lockdown, we are staying at home, do you think that this situation has created newer opportunities in terms of career-wise, in terms of business-wise? Do you think there are new opportunities that are being created?
So, Murli, I'll talk about the pandemics. So, if you look at pandemics which have occurred in the world, so 1920 there was plague which happened in most of the Europe. Then obviously we had to go through the world wars, etc., which is more or less like a pandemic only. If we look at 2008 when the markets crashed, because of the banking fiasco which happened in the US and the home loan fiasco. And a lot of people lost their jobs. So it was more or less like a pandemic at that stage also. The good thing is that whenever a pandemic happens, you have newer opportunities which get created. And the current situation is that if we look at the opportunities, I can tell you about a very interesting kind of an opportunity wherein somebody who is based in, say, Varanasi or say in Delhi or say in Calcutta in India can actually work for an organization which is based in US and earn a US salary while working here and manage the US operations for that organization. Right, this is something which is very, very interesting and a newer thing which has happened. The other things that we look at in terms of opportunities is that there are new roles which have been created. Now, for example, if you look at the people who are in finance, accountancy, and commerce also, they need to digitize themselves. They need to understand how the digital world works. Right, they need to look at obviously risk management related things, because risk management is taking the first step and it is becoming the face for the new generation of commerce and accountancy and management. Right, so practically newer opportunities are getting created. There are a lot of career opportunities, whether to talk about the corporate sector or the financial services sector. Nishit sir has already spoken about insurance, banking, and financial services industry, which is booming, and a lot of opportunities in all these areas. In fact, I can tell you that because of the fiasco which has happened in PNB and Yes Bank, the need for auditors has increased across the various organizations. They need more number of auditors. Right, due to some changes which have come to India now, we have got international financial reporting standards, which we have renamed as Indian accounting standards. Due to that, we need at least 500,000 finance professionals by 2022. And do you know how many we produce? We hardly produce 80,000 to 1 lakh people every year who can look forward to the career in that field. So in fact, the situation is that we have got more jobs and more opportunities to people and very less people to apply for them to those jobs. So which means that the demand is high and supply is very, very less. So good opportunity for the current set of young students. Yeah.
Great. Okay. I mean, now that we have spoken about the opportunities in finance and accountancy, I would like to take up a first and foremost, because keeping in view that our major audience is school students. So, and Ren spoke about professional qualification being made available at the school level. So I just would like to know, do you really think that starting off on a professional qualification at the school level is a good idea?
Okay, very, very valid question, Murli, and I think this must be in the mind of all the students. Now, think about any professional qualification in the world. You can actually get into it post your 10+2 only, which means that you have to attain the age of 17 minimum to get into a professional course. If you want to get into any other course, those courses are known as vocational or trade-related, skill-related courses, right? So that can be pursued by a student after his 10th. ACCA is the only qualification in the world right now which can be pursued by a student while he or she is in class 11th in commerce. Why? Because obviously there is a lot of similarity between what they study in the school and what is there in the first leg of the qualification at the diploma level. That's one. Two is when you start young, you can actually look forward to completing the entire qualification at a very young age. Do you know what is the average qualifying age of a chartered accountant globally? It is 25. Which means that if you can start this qualification at the age of 16 in school, when you're in class 11, you can actually look at completing this qualification by the time you are hardly 19 or 20, which means that you save 5 precious years of your life. And 5 years, you can do a lot of things actually.
5 years is a big period of time that we are talking about, Kishan. So 5 years starting early, does that mean that we retire also 5 years earlier? So I get to enjoy my life?
Yeah, choice is yours. You can do that. You can either enjoy right now or you can enjoy at a later date. Choice would be yours. Ultimately, the good thing is that these 5 years can actually give you a kickstart wherein you can be ahead of the other people. You can earn good salaries within 5 years. You can actually look forward to growing within the organizations to the next level in your career. And you can actually employ those who actually pass out at the age of 25 when you do that.
Right. Great. That's wonderful. So, keeping in view that we are talking about doing this qualification, you mentioned that, I mean, the syllabus is very similar. So when you say similar, what exactly do you mean by similar? Do I have to study all the 6 subjects or like, is there any particular subjects that are common between the ACCA and the school curriculum?
I'm sure we have a lot of 11th and 12th students here. If you look at class 12 students, they have already studied the financial accounting and business studies paper during their class 11th. In fact, the students who are going to get into class 11th post their 10th, they would be studying the financial accounting and business studies in class 11th now. Now, talking about financial accounting is financial accounting across the world. It doesn't change, right? So whether it is about preparing journals, ledger, trial balance, P&L account, balance sheet, right, or the statement of changes in equity, which is the current requirement as per the IFRS standards, it remains the same for all the students. Only difference is that we ask the students to apply what they have learned within their classrooms, right? So instead of asking them a theory question, we give them an opportunity to write an application-oriented answer. That's one for the financial accounting. Second is business studies. We have renamed that subject in ACCA as business and technology. Now this subject covers all your planning, organizing, directing, controlling, budgeting, right? As well as topics like artificial intelligence, machine learning, blockchain, etc., big data, which is the need for the hour for the new set of commerce educated people. So they study these two subjects in 11. Yeah.
I'm sorry to interrupt you here. Are we still talking about accountancy and commerce students? Because you use terminology, artificial intelligence, blockchain. I thought these were all part of computer science.
No. So artificial intelligence and blockchain, etc., have taken over. They have come to accountancy, and in fact, not only to accountancy, they are in medicine also. They are in engineering also. Whatever topics you think of in life, or whatever careers you think of in life, practically artificial intelligence, machine learning, and blockchain are a part of all those careers practically. So talking about the students who are in commerce, finance, and accountancy, for them it is very important, vital to understand the new technological terms. Artificial intelligence and machine learning and blockchain, these are the tools which are going to help them in doing accounting better. In fact, they will help them in taking the right decisions for the organization when they get into the corporate world. Right, so that's why we have included these areas in our subject called business and technology. And then they move to 12th and study a subject called management accounting, wherein they'll study cash flow statement, fund flow statement, ratios, etc., all those things, and that's a part of our curriculum also. Right. The good thing is that they just need to brush up their knowledge, learn well from the teachers who are teaching in the classroom. Once they have done that, they would be able to write the ACCA exams also. And actually, practically, whenever somebody is teaching them a particular topic, they should try to understand that how it will be applied. For example, I'll tell you, when I used to study in school, and this example I had shared with the teachers of Varanasi Sahodaya in the past also, that in my class 6 textbook, I saw a picture of a camera, which was a black and white camera. I could not understand how the camera works till the time camera did not come to my hand and I was able to click a picture. Right, so it is important for us to make the students click that picture and understand that how this camera can be used. Right, so whatever topics you study in the schools, students, it is very important for you to apply that knowledge, because once you apply the knowledge, it becomes easier for you to go and convince the employer and become work ready when you get into the employment world.
Right. So Kishan, what I understood is that the class 11th and 12th, the students, whatever we are studying in 11th and 12th in terms of financial accounting and business studies, which are the two subject names that we have in CBSE. So these subject contents are very similar to the ACCA curriculum for the first 3 papers. Is that right?
That's right.
So Kishan, I just want to understand. So when you say it is very similar, would enrolling into this program actually help me in my studies also, in my class 11th and 12th studies?
So in fact, gone are the days that people used to do rote learning. Rote learning is something which is not going to help anyone, right? When you are able to apply, what happens is that you are able to understand the concept better. So it is always a very good idea for a student to actually apply what he has learned in the classroom. If he is able to do that, nothing like it. Practically, he doesn't need to study further. So one time he has studied in the classroom, once he goes back home, he can actually go through the same topic with the application kind of a thought process, and then he's done. He need not study the same topic again.
Okay. Kishan, I mean, it sounds very interesting. But before I go to the next question, I have one very important question. You say ACCA. Is it something very similar to CA?
Okay. So this is an interesting question that you have asked me, Murli. I can tell you that every country has got a local body for accountancy, right? And before I get into that, I can tell you that a doctor is a doctor anywhere in the world. An engineer is an engineer anywhere in the world. Although an accountant is always known as a local accountant. He's never called a professional accountant anywhere in the world, right? Why? Because every country has got a local body. We have Institute of Chartered Accountants of India. When we go to Nepal, which is our neighbor, we have Institute of Chartered Accountants of Nepal. In the similar way, when you go to Pakistan, you have Institute of Chartered Accountants of Pakistan. UAE has got UAE CA, United Arab Emirates CA, right? Singapore has their own CPA, right? You go to Canada, you have CGA in Canada, right? So in the similar way, every country has got a local body. ACCA is the only body in the world which can actually give you a qualification which is ACCA anywhere in the world. So when you pursue this qualification from Varanasi or from Delhi or from Johannesburg or from New York or from London, you are ACCA. You are not called anything else, right? So that's the biggest advantage and a differentiator.
Great. Kishan, sounds really exciting and interesting, but then I have a very deep concern. See, we being in class 11th and 12th, I mean, we are very happy kind of a situation, because we are happy because after 14 long years, we are going to get an opportunity to get out of the school system. We are going to get that freedom which we have been longing for, getting into the college, going to university, hanging out with friends, and that is the time that we are actually looking forward to. So, but then on the other side, we have a apprehension in our mind, that is of getting an entry into a good college or university when we come out of the school. So does this enrolling for ACCA help actually in enrolling into a good college? Because Ren was mentioning about 100 colleges that you have tie-up with. Will this qualification actually help with those colleges?
Okay, so first let me talk about the happy times that students are having. The happy times will remain with them. No, they need not worry about that, right? So they are not going to get a lot of pressure. As a science student has pressure. Think about a science student's life. I'm sure all the commerce students here, they prepare for IIT. They prepare for the engineering entrance examination. They prepare for the medical entrance examination, right? For a commerce student, he doesn't do all these things during these 2 years. In fact, people who prepare for IITs or PMT, they practically start after their class 7th or 6th only, right? And start preparing towards their IIT and PMT journey. Now, once the worry for today's student or the parent is not that whether they'll score 90% or not in their 12th boards, right? The worry is that whether they'll get admission into a good college or a university or not, right? So if you look at any of the good colleges, everywhere you're going and saying that, okay, I have scored 91%, whether I'll get admission in this college or not. Think about it, say for example, Sri Ram College of Commerce in Delhi, or say Christ University in Bangalore, right, where the cutoff is above 98. It becomes so difficult for you to get an admission there, right? Bren mentioned about some names of the colleges. We currently work with obviously 97 plus universities wherein we are offering the BCom or the BBA course, which is integrated with the ACCA syllabus. Now, talking about the integration, what happens is the students who are studying in these colleges, they are practically pursuing the ACCA course only during those 3 years. So they get dual degree, which is they get a BCom or a BBA from the university, as well as they get a ACCA qualification while they are part of this university curriculum. Now, think about, say, a college like Christ. Christ University has got this BCom wherein they have got 180 plus seats, right, in Bangalore as well as in Ghaziabad. Sorry, they call it BBA, Bachelor's in Business Administration and Professional Accountancy. So they've got 180 seats in Bangalore and around, I would say, 60 seats in Ghaziabad Center. Now, when they take admission of the student, they ask them to come for an interview. When a student goes for the interview and he has done a diploma in accounting and business from ACCA, which is the 3 papers during his school days, he has an advantage here wherein he can showcase his documents there and tell them that, okay, I have done the FIA curriculum or the Foundations in Accountancy curriculum of ACCA during my school days, and I can give you the right answers to whatever queries you have. Students with a stronger foundations are always preferred.
Great, wonderful. So which basically means that enrolling for this course is going to give me a basic advantage when I go for admissions into top colleges of the country. Great, that's wonderful to know. What I mean, Kishan, if is this 3 papers that we are talking about in class 11th and 12th, is that the ultimate? I mean, I just do that and that's it. I've done my ACCA. Is that so?
No. So that's the first leg of the qualification, Murli. So they get a diploma after their 12th. Immediately after that, they can move towards the rest of the qualifications, wherein they have to pursue 6 more subjects and they get an advanced diploma in accounting and business from ACCA. Plus to that, they have an opportunity to get a Bachelor of Science in Applied Accounting from Oxford Brookes University while they are in India itself without traveling to that location. And after that, they can they move to the final leg wherein we have got 4 papers. They complete it and become ACCA affiliates. They have an opportunity here to pursue a MSc in Professional Accountancy from University of London by writing only 2 papers, and then they work for 3 years in the field and become ACCA members. So they'll be able to write ACCA letters after their names when they have completed the experience requirement.
Oh, great. Wonderful. So now, Kishan, that the most important question that comes is first before we proceed further. So what is it that I need to do in order to enroll for this course?
Okay, so enrollment is very simple. You have to obviously go to the website of Unnayan and fill up the form there. Appear in a small test which is known as International Accountancy Proficiency Test. And post that, once you pass that test, you can very much enroll for the ACCA qualification. Unnayan Education is going to support them with all the details in terms of the next steps towards.
Okay. So basically, this scholarship test when you're talking about, is there some particular discount that I get in the fees?
Okay, so normally the enrollment fee for the ACCA qualification is around 79 GBP, right? Which gets reduced to 20 GBP for the students who are coming through the school. So they'll have an advantage there. And overall, in the fees, the biggest advantage is that they are able to reduce it by 25,000 rupees in total, right, by appearing in the scholarship test. So scholarship test gives them an opportunity to actually reduce their fee from the level of 65K to 40,000 rupees in total.
So is there any entrance fees for this scholarship test?
Normally there is, however, for CBSE Sahodaya, because Dr. Ranjan Roy as well as the other members of the Sahodaya, they have requested, we have made it zero for all the students of CBSE Sahodaya in Varanasi.
Great. So Kishan, now let us come to some serious questions. So you speak about international qualification. You spoke about how they can enroll at the school level. So now the question that arises is, what are the opportunities, or rather, which industry do we have opportunity for after completing my ACCA? Is it like I just become just an accountant, sit in an office and just prepare accounts? Is that all that I'm going to be doing?
Okay, so don't think that accountants are like in the movie that we used to watch in the previous days, right? So historically, you used to see a person writing in a bahikhata kind of a thing, a register, which was practically the journal which people used to prepare journal or ledger accounts, right? Those are not the current days for the accountants anymore. Accountants are business leaders. They look forward to becoming CFOs in the organization. They are risk managers. They are business partners, and they actually look forward to becoming CEOs also. So 58% of the new CEOs within the larger multinational corporations are from finance and accountancy background. And the reason behind they becoming the CEO is that they can actually look at the bottom line of the organization, which is the profitability for the organization. So they are always preferred there. So many sectors, think about any sector, whether it is the corporate sector, banking and financial services, insurance sector, or the social sector, right? There are opportunities for them to look forward to. They can be auditors, they can be accountants, they can be business partners, they can be CFOs, they can be CEOs within the organizations.
Great, Kishan. So what you're effectively put up is a path where right from class 11th to becoming a CEO, ACCA is going to be there with them to guide them and reach that position.
Yeah, so that's people who pursue ACCA, they become alumni for life. Yeah, so right. We are there with them. We don't leave them in between. Once we have holded the hand of a student, he is there with us throughout their lives. Yeah.
Okay, great. So, so now I have a couple of questions that are coming up from the audience, and I would like to take them up. So the first question that is coming up is, which I would like to direct at Ren to answer this question. Ren, do you think that in the current scenario, there is a skill gap that exists between what we are, what our students and employees are prepared for, and what is the requirement of the industry?
Thank you, Murli. That's a very excellent question. You know, one of the, as you would appreciate, having worked in the school segment for many years, you would know that, like, I mean, India has got one of the largest educational systems in the world, which is comparable to China. So India has got over 1.5 million schools and over 250 million students enrolled in these schools across the country. So it's estimated that now most of the students who are attending this are doing the 11th or 12th. If you look at it, in India, every year, it is estimated that nearly 28 million, that's approximately 280 lakh students complete their higher secondary or 10+2, and then go on to do a degree or a professional qualification. And of this 28 million students, nearly 18%, that's around approximately 5 million, 50 lakh students every year go on to do a degree in commerce, finance, or accounting, or a related stream. So in India, one of the key challenges is the huge skills gap. I mean, it is estimated that nearly 60% of the graduates doesn't have the relevant skills that employers are looking for. And when it comes to finance and accounting, it's even more scarier. It's less than 3% of the graduates in commerce, accounting, finance, or business have the relevant skills that employers are looking for. So over 97% of the graduates in finance, commerce, or accounting doesn't have the relevant skills. So there's a huge skills gap. So that's where ACCA qualification, in fact, that's one of the reasons why government has come up with campaigns like Skill India, etc. The whole idea is to ensure that more than 90% of the India's youth population have the relevant skills, are upskilled. So that's a challenge. Right. However, the challenge here is that government doesn't, I mean, the capacity for skill development is quite low. That's where Unnayyan and ACCA are coming together along with Sahodaya CBSE so that students benefit from gaining these skills.
Great. That's a wonderful input, Ren. Thank you so much. Now, Kishan, I have one question for you, which is coming from Unnati. She wants to know that are these opportunities only for those students, commerce students who have taken maths?
Okay, very interesting question, Unnati. I can tell you one thing, that mathematics is not necessary for somebody to pursue the ACCA qualification. You need to have the basic understanding towards maths, which I'm sure you have taken till class 10th, which would be good enough for you to pursue a professional qualification like ACCA.
Okay. Kishan, there was we were talking about international qualification. So with the international qualification, is there any scope for a degree also that can be obtained from this? If I pursue ACCA, do I get some kind of a degree which is valid in the country?
Yeah, as I have mentioned, there is an international degree which a student can get immediately after completing his 9 papers. He'll get a Bachelor of Science in Applied Accounting from Oxford Brookes University without traveling to UK, right? And in case things improve later on, they can actually go and attend the convocation ceremony in Dubai, Singapore, or London. So there is a facility for that also. And the other advantage is that they get a MSc in Professional Accountancy after completing their full qualification. And for that, what they have to do is they have to write 2 examinations. In fact, in UK, there are around 100+ universities wherein they can go and get a MSc in Professional Accountancy by just submitting a dissertation report. Now, talking about Indian degree, they have to look at an Indian degree also, which will help them in getting the basic qualification, which is required as per the laws of India.
Okay. So, Kishan, so do I understand correctly that for this BSc degree from Oxford Brookes University or MSc degree from London University, the students don't have to actually travel there. They don't have to go there. They can sit here in the country in India and get these qualifications?
Yes, that's right. In fact, they can sit at home and get these qualifications because our examinations are also moving towards that kind of a position now.
Okay. So that's wonderful. So the next question that I have is from a student who wants to know that is it compulsory to enroll for a graduation if I want to pursue only ACCA?
It is not compulsory as per the requirements, and Ren would be able to answer this question further, because Ren, remember there was a student who joined Grant Thornton and he's not a graduate also.
Right. Yes, Ren, we would like to hear that story.
You're talking about Jatin Kalra?
Yes, Ren. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
That's a typical example of how ACCA has supported a student. The student joined for this, started the diploma in accounting and business while in school, and after he completed the 10+2, he was absorbed by Grant Thornton, and he's one of the youngest directors at GT. At the age of, he became a director at the age of 27, and He completed the ACCA qualification, which was sponsored by the employer. He also got a BSc Honors in Applied Accounting from Oxford Brookes University. So that's a typical example. So in such a short time, he achieved all these things. So that's what the students are posted, the opportunity for the students.
Yeah, right. And he's not an Indian graduate, Murli. Although I would like to tell the students that it is always a good idea to pursue the local qualification also. You need to have the BCom degree because there are a lot of other employers who look forward to the basic degree also. So it is important. See, professional qualification will make you a professional, but you need to have the basic qualification also for your own strength in the market. Yeah.
Great. Great. Kishan, I would like to mention to the audience here that we have Dr. Ranjan Roy and Mr. Ashish Saxena, who have also joined us in the panel. And we will be talking to them also in a short while. But before I go to that, to ask them the question, I have one question for you, Kishan. We are speaking about tie-ups with 100 colleges where this diploma is going to help. So can you just give us a highlight of the kind of institutions that we are talking about, the names of those institutions?
Yeah, so we are currently working with universities like Christ University in Bangalore, which has got a campus in Ghaziabad. We work with Symbiosis, they have got campuses in Pune and Hyderabad, as well as in Noida. We also work with OP Jindal Global University, which has been ranked as the #1 university, as a private university in India by QS ranking recently. We work with Birla Institute of Management Technology, which is again one of the top 10 management colleges of India. We work with St. Joseph College of Bangalore. We work with Stella Maris, right, GD Goenka, Xavier's, Loyola's in Chennai and Hyderabad, Sophia College. So many colleges are there. In fact, if I start counting them, the numbers would be really, I won't be able to give the list right now. But what I can tell you right now is that out of the top 10 commerce colleges in India, we are currently working with the 9.
Great. That's wonderful, Kishan. Then I have this question that whether the qualification that is obtained in India, this is a question from one of the attendees that they want to know whether they'll be able to work abroad with this qualification.
So yes, they would be able to work abroad. That's not a challenge at all. However, I can tell you one thing, and attendee has given the name also. What's the name?
No. Yeah.
Okay, no problem. So please do write your names also whenever you are asking a question. That would be helpful. But I can tell you one thing that if you look at India, India has got more opportunities than any other country in the world today. Yeah. In fact, because what has happened is most of the jobs which were there in Europe, in US, in Australia, New Zealand, they have been shifted to India now. And these jobs have been shifted to places which are very close to you, to places like Lucknow, places like Noida, Gurgaon, Jaipur, as well as Chandigarh, Bangalore, Mumbai, Chennai, Trivandrum, Cochin, Hyderabad, Calcutta. These are the places where jobs are there. And you have got so many jobs right now in India itself. In fact, you can get the best of the salaries. India has grown in terms of the salaries and in terms of the work life, etc. And you can actually look forward to getting best of the university opportunities while you are here. In fact, once you have done that, once you have gained significant experience, you can look forward to moving out of India and working in, say, other parts of the world. You can go to any other part of the world. In fact, we are tied up with 78 other countries wherein people can go and practice.
Great. So, Kishan, I have one very important question that is coming up from Rajat. But before we take this question, I just would like to ask Dr. Ranjan Roy to speak a couple of words so that we can hear him on whatever we have been discussing here, and then take it forward. So, sir, if you can kindly address this attendees, the students. Dr. Ranjan Roy. Dr. Ranjan, I think.
Good evening, Mr. Murli. Am I audible?
Yes, sir. Yes,
Hello.
sir. You're audible, sir, and you're live.
Mr. Okay. See, I'm first and foremost, I'm extremely sorry because of technical difficulties, rather connectivity, but due to heavy shower here in Varanasi, I was not able to join. Although there are people, those who have joined, they are also from Varanasi, but technical difficulty, it is beyond your control. You can't help it. Anyway, so I'm very glad because I was overhearing what all were going on. Nice discussion. ACCA, the Association of Chartered Certified Accountants, came into its existence in the year 1904. ACCA is the global professional accounting body offering the Chartered Certified Accountant qualification. ACCA's headquarters is in London, we all know, with the principal administrative office in Glasgow. Today, Mr. Rain, who is one of the panelists and speaker, joined ACCA as the head of the partnership for emerging markets with over 20 years of business experience in the UK and India, out of which 15 years he has served the education sector in the UK and internationally. Prior to joining the ACCA, he worked for ABE as the Regional Director Asia. He is a passionate professional with the experience of both private and public sector organization, possessing a unique understanding of the relationship between the two. He is an accomplished international business development professional with an exceptional track record of developing new client business covering sales opportunities,
Sir, you're not audible.
Hello. Hello. I hope that there is a gap, because
now
something else is also I'm able to hear.
It's okay, sir. Now you can speak.
Okay. Am I audible, sir?
Yeah. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So, Mr. Rain is an accomplished international business development professional with an exceptional track record of developing the new client business, converting sales into opportunities and improving profit margin within the education sector. Rain possesses a sound business sense with an excellent leadership qualities proven by leading and nurturing international teams and projects across the globe. I had the opportunity to meet Mr. Rain last year, so that was nice interaction, and a person like him will definitely give a lot of takeaway through today's session to our educators, teachers, and the students. I firmly believe that. The another panelist and the speaker for today is Mr. Kishan Mishra, who has already given reply to many questions which was put forward by Mr. Murli. And Mr. Kishan Mishra is the head of North and East India, responsible for ACC's business development in the North and East India market, working closely with the large enterprises and education providers in the region. Recently, he has been awarded as top 100 global leaders in the field of education by Global Forum of Education and Learning, Prism Incorporation, USA. He has got over 16 years of extensive experience of business development, experience of managing education, business, channel partner, corporate and direct sales teams. In his previous assignment at the HCL, he managed the North and East regions and was also responsible for development of channel business on pan-India level. He has also been involved as a national coordinator for bank like Allahabad Bank and UCO Bank, and in particular project known as KCC, and he has managed banks, private, foreign, rural and cooperative as well. So that way he has got vast experience, and he has been the chairperson of Asia Pacific and alternative channel of distribution of conferences in the field of Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia, and a speaker at a various national and international forums. He grew up in a defense service family and has attended several schools across the India before completing his international business studies from Indian Institute of Foreign Trade and postgraduate diploma in management from Entrepreneurship Development Institute of India, located in Ahmedabad. So this is very little thing I spoke about Mr. Kishan Mishra. Our third panelist and the speaker for today is Mr. Nitish Kumar, is currently Vice President Marketing in Bajaj Allianz General. He is a graduate in honors with BCom degree from Delhi University and completed his MBA Finance from Patna University. He is a fellow of Insurance Institute of India. He is also an former bank officer of Central Bank of India. Served in public sector undertaking like National Insurance Company for 14 years as a class 1 officer. So these are the short and brief profile of all our speakers for today. So I firmly believe that all the viewers, those who have logged in, especially the students and the educators, they will be largely benefited by their perspective and their wisdom which they will be sharing today. And this effort was taken by Unnayan, the brainchild of a group of educationists, those who have aligned with Varanasi Sahodaya, and after that they have invited this resource person from ACC. So I hope all of your queries would be answered by our resource panel, those panelists, those who are there, and it would be a nice webinar for all of you and lot of takeaway from the session. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you so much, sir. Before we proceed ahead with the questions, we'll take up the questions from the attendees. I would like to mention here that at the end of this event, there is a link URL provided, which all the attendees you need to fill out, and you'll be eligible for the participation certificate. So we'll be displaying the slide once again at the end of the program. So you need to take it up and fill out the feedback form. So moving ahead, Kishan, I have a very interesting question from Arnab, and there are a couple of questions on that. So I'll just take the first question. This question is ACCA going to help somebody who is planning to do business?
Okay, fantastic question, Arnab. And I can tell you that entrepreneurship is something which is the need of the hour and future for all of us. In fact, when you become an entrepreneur and you have a professional accountancy qualification with you in the background, nobody can actually fool you. In fact, you will be able to run your organization in a much better way, in a much professional way. In fact, if you look at the ACCA qualification, we have seen a journey. As Ren was mentioning, we are around 117 years young organization now. And in last 117 years, what we have seen is that we have moved from accountancy to finance to business leadership. And business leaders are not only running the organization as an employee, however, they are now the future leaders and entrepreneurs for most of the organizations. So I have got so many people who are entrepreneurs, and they are practicing for various companies, not only for India, however, for outside India. So for example, I have got a ACCA member who is based in Jaipur, who is actually practicing for various countries in Africa, right? And I have got somebody who is in Chennai, is practicing for organizations which are in Australia, and they are not working with any other organization. They are practically working as entrepreneurs.
Right, great, that's wonderful. So there is a question from Ashia, that what is the duration for completing a ACCA qualification? Okay,
Ashia, very, very good question. Normally, a student who has completed his 12th can complete the entire ACCA qualification between 2.5 years to 3 years time during their graduation. However, for school students, what we want is that they actually go through the first 3 papers in the first 2 years of their school curriculum, which means that 11th and 12th, they prepare for only 3 papers, and then they do the rest of the 10 papers during the graduation. In fact, they can complete the entire ACCA qualification by the time the students have completed their first 2 years of graduation only.
Great. I have got a very interesting question here. It is from Kirtika. Kirtika says, why do students find it hard to complete CA or ACCA? Is it the exam which makes it hard, or is it the negligence of students?
Okay. Neither the exam is hard nor the negligence is there with the students, Kirtika. I can tell you one thing, that the students who prepare to fail will never pass, right? So it is important that you should prepare to pass. And for that, what you need to do is that you have to stop rote learning. Never try to mug up the things which are being mentioned in the books. It is always a very good idea for you to apply what you have learned in the classroom. Again, I'm emphasizing on this word. Application of learning is very important. If you look at a balance sheet, just think about it, that why the balance sheet is changing, why the asset and liability is changing in the last 5 years, why these changes have come. Or say if you're looking at the P&L account and you find that the sales revenue of an organization is increasing by 3 times every year, but however, the loss is also increasing by 5 times. What are the reasons behind it? Never just look at just preparing those sheets. It is very important for you to understand why these changes have come in those numbers, right? So you have to play with the numbers and think about taking the right decisions for the organizations. Then you'll be able to write any examination. Don't worry.
Question, there is a very important, very interesting question rather, is we have heard that, I mean, there is a percentage foundation of how many students get to qualify as CA every year, right? Everybody who writes a good exam cannot pass CA. So is there some kind of a condition with ACCA also?
Not at all. We don't have any such condition. In fact, people who are of ability and ambition and application oriented, anybody can pursue the SCCA qualification, and we do not fix up any percentage. I can tell you very, very interestingly that from India, we are seeing a lot of people scoring 100 out of 100 in ACCA examinations. Can you think of it? Like from Ahmedabad, a boy scored 100 out of 100 in financial reporting paper, which is IFRS paper, right? Strategic business leader paper, which is a case study based examination. When we conducted the examination in India and across the globe for the first time, we got the first topper from Delhi in India, right? So we get so many people who are toppers in ACCA qualification from India. And I can tell you that at various levels, students are doing much better than what it is happening in the other parts of the world.
Okay. I have a question from Akshara, who says that I'm in class 12 right now. Is it too late to apply for ACCA?
Okay, Akshara, very good question. And I can tell you that this is the right time for you to apply for ACCA. Why? Because you have already studied the first two papers in class 11. Say for somebody who is getting into class 11th can write these two papers after completion of his examination in March and during his April-May holidays. For you, you have already studied these two papers, so you can very well write these two examinations immediately. And in fact, look at completing the third examination post your board exam and get the diploma by the time you complete your 12th. So you're not late at all. You're at the right time. Yeah.
Okay. And we have a question. I mean, this is a repetitive question. He has been asking this question a couple of times. So I think let us take up his question. Mobashir Ali has a question that you said that you can learn in India and work in the foreign country, in foreign currency. So how do I plan for this?
Okay. Good that you're thinking about it, Mubashir. This is the right time to think on those lines. Why? Because the pandemic has actually helped us in thinking on those lines. I can tell you one of my friends recently has been hired by a very large insurance broking company, and Nishit sir is also here. So in front of him, I can tell you about that. This insurance broking is from USA, and the boy has been hired in Delhi, and he'll be paid in US dollars in India. Why this is happening now is because obviously changes are coming up. Now organizations are not at all bounded by the locations. In fact, within my own organization, there's a new hiring happening for a very senior position. And for that, organizations are saying that you can be based anywhere in the world and work from home also. And this is because of the pandemic situation. Such opportunities are arising. And I can tell you, Mubashir, that these opportunities are going to remain in the future also. What you need to do is that you need to prepare well for your examinations first, get a good qualification in your hand, work with some good organization for a few years, and then look forward to working with any international organization anywhere in the world. In fact, your first job can be with the best of the international organizations. In fact, Murli, you can show the logos also. We currently work with various organizations like KPMG, which is a world leader in terms of consulting. We work with organizations like Ernst & Young. We work with ITC. We work with Grant Thornton. Ren spoke to you about that. We work with PricewaterhouseCoopers. We also work with organizations like Infosys, HCL, ITC, so many organizations. And when I spoke about ITC, HCL, etc., these are Indian corporates, right? So think on those lines, and you can very well look forward to working with any of the best of the corporates which are available right now in the country.
Okay. We have a question from, this is a question that has come, which has got a couple of likes also. What is the kind of questions that will come in the scholarship test?
Okay, the scholarship test is very, very simple. In case you have completed your 11th, obviously we'll test your knowledge on financial accounting and business studies, right? Because you have already studied these two subjects. For students who have completed their 10th, we'll judge them on their basic qualification, which is 10th. So we might ask them questions related to general knowledge, about reasoning, about simple mathematics, etc., or simple English comprehension, right? Why this difference is there? Because somebody who has done his 10th, he has never gone into commerce at all. And somebody who has already studied commerce, I think we should actually ask them the commerce related questions. Yeah.
Right. Kishan, I've got a question from Sanskar Agarwal. He has this question that I am going to be joining my family business.
Right.
And so how is this professional course going to help me in doing my family business?
Okay, interesting. And Sanskar, I can tell you one thing, that when I used to study in my MBA, we were told that entrepreneurs are not born, they're created, right? So obviously, people with family business also, they can't think that they are just born in a family business, so they'll be able to run a family business better. It is always a good idea for you to look forward to a good qualification, which can actually make your foundation stronger. And then, as I was mentioning, that nobody can actually fool you when you are running the organization. See, if you're the CEO of the organization or the chairman of the organization, you need to know that how your finance and accounting work happens, right? You need to also know that how the rest of the things are being done, whether it is marketing, HR, or operations, because when you're an entrepreneur, you have to run all those things within the organization. The good thing with a qualification like ACCA is that we are talking about business leadership today, and it actually captures all those points which are relevant for you to become an entrepreneur at a later date. In fact, talking about employees nowadays, the employees are like intrapreneurs, right? And intrapreneurs are people who actually work with an organization, then also they behave like an entrepreneur. So it is more about that behavior which gets inculcated in you, and you'll be able to do better in your life if you have a professional qualification.
Kishan, you'll have to be a judge for the next question, whether you would like to answer or would you like to give it to Ren to answer this question. The question is, why is it that ACCA works only with private colleges, not with government colleges?
Okay. And I think Ren and myself both can answer. However, I would request Ren to first give this answer. And in fact, he can tell you about so many government universities we are working with. Ren?
Ren, I think, is offline for the moment. Can you can just continue, Kishan.
Okay. So I can tell you that we currently work with universities like Bangalore University, which is a government university. All the 600 colleges in the Bangalore University are offering the BCom, which is a ACCA BCom only. We work with University of Calicut. We work with Delhi University. We are working with Osmania University in Hyderabad, which is considered to be one of the most reputed universities in India. So currently we are already in discussion with universities like University of Punjab and Jodhpur University, wherein we are looking forward to starting the ACCA qualification very soon. And also maybe in your city, in Varanasi, very soon you might hear that we are tied up with one of the well-known universities in your city too.
Okay. Ashia has one more interesting question. She says, will our 12th board results get affected because I'm pursuing ACCA course?
In fact, your 12th board results will become better, Ashia, because when you are writing the answers in your board examinations also, and these would be application-based answer, and I can tell you that the CBSE board is also looking forward to application-oriented answers now. They are not looking at rote learning at all. I have met the senior CBSE officials, and they have said that we are looking forward to application-oriented answers because we would like our candidates to be work-ready when they move out in the market. So don't worry, your results would be much better. And don't think about numbers or the scores in the marks. Right, as I told you that your 90% will not make a difference in case you do not have a proper understanding about what you have learned in your classrooms.
Right, Kishan. I've got the next question, and rightly so, he has not given his name. He or she has not given his name because the question relates to the studies itself. He says, I don't have much of an interest in business studies. So I want to ask is, will it create a big issue while applying in ACCA?
Okay, so business studies will never create an issue for you. Business studies is very, very simple. Why? I don't know why you are worried about it. It actually gives you the right foundation towards working on the rest of the papers when you move ahead and do your BCom or BBA or an MBA later on. Because wherever you go, whether in a BCom or a BBA or MBA, business studies would be a part of the syllabus. So don't worry, you can't run away from it. Think about it, that I was mentioning that you are planning, organizing, directing, controlling, budgeting, type of companies, etc. All those things. These are basic things. If you don't know them, then it would be difficult for you to cope up with the rest of the more technical subjects, right? So to make your foundation, try to learn them. And the good thing is that whenever you're learning them, try to learn them in a group. Never study alone. Don't think that the other person sitting next to you in your classroom is your competitor. Collaborate with him. You might be good at, say, accountancy. He or she might be good at business studies. Share the learnings, share the ideas with each other, and then both of you will become excellent in both the papers.
Great. Sir, Kishan, you mentioned about scholarships for enrolling for this program. So I have Sushmita who wants to know, is there scholarship for doing the ACCA program in totality?
Okay. So, Sushmita, very important question, and I can tell you that yes, ACCA has actually subsidized the fee here in India. If you think about the ACCA qualification in UK, you would be paying at least 10 times of what you're going to pay in India. So you can think about it that 1/10 or the 10% of the total cost is in India, which makes the qualification more accessible and affordable for all of you.
Great. I have a teacher who is asking a very important question. He says, will this course be helpful for teachers teaching in class 11th and 12th?
Wonderful. Very good question. And can you name the teacher if possible?
No, he has not given his name.
Okay. So, sir or madam, I don't know your name. However, I can tell you that it actually helps you in your entire teaching learning methods, because when you actually make the students apply what they have learned in the subject, it will actually create a more exciting environment, more vibrancy in the classroom, as well as you'll see impact on the results also going forward. So it is important for you to give them that kind of application orientation. And for this, we will conduct a lot of train the trainers. We have conducted one in the month of January for the teachers of Varanasi Sahodaya. We are looking forward to conducting a few more, which would be in the form of webinars, etc., and as well as a proper train the trainer, which will be through a knowledge partner, international knowledge partner, which will help you in improving your own teaching learning methods. So that's something
he has
which is
given
already
his name. It is okay, Kishan. He has given his name. It is Rajan Singh who had asked this question.
Okay,
And
so
our next question, next question is from Riddhi. Riddhi wants to know if the ACCA exams will be conducted online or offline.
okay, interesting question, Riddhi. And
When is the question examinations conducted normally?
right. So if you look at the ACCA examinations, all our examinations are computer based only. Okay, none of the examinations are offline, so there is no face-to-face or paper-based examination which happens. We were conducting all the examinations in the centers till the month of March. However, pandemic has forced us to conduct some examinations at home also. So you will see that we are going to conduct the future examinations through remote proctored mechanisms while you are sitting at home in your bedroom or in your study room. You will be able to write the ACCA exam there, completely computer-based.
Wow, wonderful. So I can have the books also open along with the computer?
Okay, so that's so as I told you
does
that
proctored mean that I'll not be able to use the books?
not only that, the remote proctored examination will have an invigilator to check on that. However, I can tell you one interesting fact that whenever people open books, they definitely fail, because
Right.
our examinations are application based. So books will not
Great.
help.
Right. And sure, I have one very interesting question, which is I want to stay in India itself. Then what should I pursue? CA or ACCA?
Okay. Interesting question, and I can tell you that he is asking this question basis what Prime Minister said, that you need to be more vocal about the local. Yeah, and I can tell you that we are as local as any other qualification is. See, the good thing with ACCA is that you get a qualification which is globally relevant. Now, what does globally relevant means? That the qualification will make you an ACCA anywhere in the world. It will also ensure that you have the same standard across the world. We also ensure that you have the same pedagogy. We also ensure that you get the same certification. In fact, the examination date and time also remain the same for you when you pursue the ACCA qualification. And you are a part of the global community. Why a global community? Because while you are in India, you might be working for various organizations which are requiring your support, right? And these organizations might be present in, say, USA or Europe or Australia, New Zealand, or any other part of the world. So it would always be a good idea that world has become one now. There are no boundaries. Don't think that there is a LAC between India and China, so people cannot work. World is global because everything is digitized, right? It's a digital world in which we are living, right? So don't bound yourself with one qualification or any other qualification which will make you remain here. Keep your options open, because it is not about studying the same thing which will help you understand the things as per the local requirements. It is more about learning the things which will actually make you a global citizen in the long term. It's not about leaving the country at all. Don't worry, you're not going to leave your country. You can very well stay here and do it.
Right. Kishan, I have got a very interesting question from Akshit. But before I take up Akshit's question, I have got a question from Shreya, where she wants to know how to apply for the scholarship test. Shreya, I would like to answer here that you can go to unnayan.co.in and you can click on the IAPT scholarship link and submit the form there, and you will get the link for giving the examination. I hope that answers your question. Kishan, the question from Akshat, which is really very pertinent and I think which is lingering on most of the students' mind, is how should we convince our parents about ACCA? Give me some strong and secure points.
So I have already told you about one worry the parents have, that whether my son or daughter will score 90% or not, right? That is not a worry at all. The worry is that whether they will get admission into a good institution or not. And ultimately, what is more important is employability. Now think about employability. Employability has two words. One is employment, second is ability, right? And if you look at the kind of jobs which are available in the market, I can tell you that there are so many jobs which are there for people who are pursuing a professional accountancy qualification like ACCA. And they can actually look forward to joining any of the best of the organizations post the completion of the course. And that too at a younger age. So you have another advantage. You do it by 19 or 20 at a younger age. You can earn salaries by the time your parents have actually, they may not think about sponsoring your qualification further or making you do something else. They can actually look forward to you earning the salaries at a very young age. Second is that this qualification can actually take you places. Right, and I can tell you that there are a lot of people who ask me that what kind of a job you are into, and they normally think that I'll answer that I'm with an education organization. I actually tell them that I am with a travel organization. I'm a travel agent. I can actually transport people from one place to another across the world. So with a qualification like ACCA, in case you are interested to move out of India and work anywhere in the world, you have a choice. In case you want to work in India, you have a lot of opportunities and look forward to working here. So tell your parents that I can do this qualification at an early stage to get into the best of the institutions. I can do this qualification at an early stage to qualify and become a professional accountant at a younger age and start my career early and finish my career also early, as Murli was mentioning, that you can retire early. And also I can go places which is not possible with any other qualification.
Right. Kishan, I have a question from Nandita, which you had already answered earlier, as to how to balance our curriculum from both school and ACCA in case we are enrolling. So could you just repeat the answer for her once again?
Okay. So it is just not about balancing. It is about learning what your teachers have taught and applying it. Nothing more than that. If you are able to understand how to apply what has been taught, you will be able to manage anything in the world. Right. And the good thing is that your financial accounting or business studies or management accounting is similar to what is there in our syllabus. So it makes your job much more easier. You study for one, study well what your teachers have taught, apply them, and then you are through for both the examinations. You can write both the papers.
Okay. I think we will invite Ashish ji for a vote of thanks. But before that, I have got last question, which I would like to take up. Is ACCA more important and has more weight than CA?
Okay.
So if you answer that question, then we'll wrap it up with that.
Okay. And who has asked this question?
They have not disclosed their name. Yes.
Okay. So I never compare between two qualifications. Both the qualifications have their own importance, right? As I told you that a doctor is a doctor anywhere in the world, an engineer is an engineer anywhere in the world. Accountant is always a local accountant. With ACCA, you can look forward to becoming a global accountant. That's the biggest differentiator. Second is that most of the qualification across the world have got grouping systems. Okay, and in ACCA, you don't have a grouping system. You can pick up one paper, prepare well for that paper, and write the examination after 3 months. Every quarter, you write one paper and you can complete the entire ACCA qualification. So I can tell you that if you prepare for one, it makes your job much more easier rather than preparing for 4 or 5 papers and then you might pass in 2 and you might not clear the rest 2. So here you have an advantage. You prepare for one, pass that and move on. That is there with ACCA. And third is employability. As I have mentioned, we have more jobs and less number of people to apply to those jobs. So the demand for the ACCA qualified professional accountant is very high in India right now.
Great. Thank you so much, Kishan, for that. Now I would like to invite Mr. Ashish Saxena to address the audience.
Thank you, Murli, for giving me the opportunity. And before saying anything, I would like to thank AS, ACCA, Onyan and Varanasi Sahodaya School Complex for organizing such kind of beautiful webinar and very informative kind of webinar. Our many students are attending, teachers are also attending, and I'm sure the information that they are getting from this webinar will be definitely helping them to get a very high position in their career, and whatever dreams they have seen, they will be getting much more better than that. And I would like to say thanks to Mr. Nishit Kumar, the Vice President, Bajaj Alliance. Sir, you have given a light on that how can we, what kind of a scope we are having in the post-pandemic situation, and what you are observing as a insurance sector in the post-COVID session, and definitely that your information has given a good idea to our students also. Yeah, after post-COVID also lots and lots of opportunities are there in the insurance sector also. Mr. N, your presence is very important and very informative for us. You have given very good information to us, and the example of Mr. Jatin is really influencing our students also, those who are in this webinar. Mr. Krishnan, I met you personally in person also, and we were having long discussion and so many other things. I think that now I am just thinking over that. Why not you have started this organization sometime back when I'm not a principal at that time, I was a student at that time. I think I can get much more heights because of your guidance and all. And obviously you have touched all the arenas, and you have given very beautifully the presentation of that anybody who is appearing a science is a very common dream of all Indians, but the people can get a better position in a shorter time in their bright career if they are going or they are taking entry in their career through the financial sector. And that's really very informative. Thank you very much for giving us so much information to all the students. And Mr. Murli, I have no words to say thanks to you, because you have touched all the questions, whatever is just in the mind of a common student, and they may not get an opportunity that they can interact with these personalities in person, or they can talk to this person through mail or WhatsApp or anything. But such webinar and your interactive questions made all the things very easy. And thanks to the students and all those who are present as an audience in this webinar, that you have just gathered the information from all these eminent personalities in the financial sector, that I hope that you people are bound to think over that e-commerce, accounts, all these things in common observation. It is all like told like that. Acha, you have got less marks, you will be given commerce. But now you can say that thing, oh, I'm getting commerce, I'm the most important person in the society, and I am having good opportunities in my life also. So thank you so much for giving me this opportunity to be a part of the system as a panelist. Thank you, Mr. Murli. Thank you, Mr. Krishna, Mr. Ran, Mr. Nishit, and all those who are present in the audience, a student, teacher, and everyone. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much. And thank you, everybody, for sparing your valuable time to join us today and being a patient hearing to us. And we look forward to seeing you soon. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.